And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Women of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today I've had a request for a video to react to. I have not watched it yet. I know who it is. The guy who's made the video. It's Elliot Hulse or Hulse, whatever. He's been a YouTube guru for like 13 years or something. Has a massive YouTube channel, and he's made a video called "Only Good Girls Deserve Luxury." Okay, so that'll be a fun one to watch, and let's see if we agree or not agree. We'll probably agree on a lot of things, but will we?
Giving him the type of encouragement and support that he needs so that you could live in the shadow of his luxury. I want to give my wife everything. It gives me a boner to buy my wife stuff, to see my wife basking in luxury. Yo, Elliot, my question. I understand and agree with your idea that men should provide for the family, which allows the wife to focus on nurturing the household.
Boom. Love it. So far, so good. Okay? The man provides and protects. Women, they follow nature, which is nurture. Okay? And the reason why they do that is because they want to do that in a household that works. So if the man actually has created an environment where his woman has no worries, no fears about money at all, none whatsoever, she knows that she's protected, then she can trust in her man that everything will be taken care of, especially financially. Because if that is taken care of, a woman can just, if she truly trusts her man, that's the most difficult part though, is the man actually trustworthy? But if he is trustworthy and she has developed trust in him, she can literally live a carefree lifestyle. And when a woman does that, she automatically becomes nurturing. Because femininity nurtures, masculinity competes. Okay, and we want women to be feminine more than anything else on planet Earth.
How do you feel about a man of our caliber dating a female artist? Especially with the fact that they seem appealing in one way or another. I think that's great. I think that's amazing. I think that's what Seven Audio refers to in his book, The Oracle, as feminine luxury. And when we live in a rightly ordered world, not like the diabolical disorientation that we live in today, but when we live in a rightly ordered world, meaning that men are men and women are women, women can relax into their role and men can step up into their role. And neither party will be afraid to be all that they should be. Men are afraid to be men because women are going to take advantage of them. Women are afraid to be women because men are going to take advantage of them. Nobody could freaking relax. Nobody could be what they meant to be. Men feel like when they're being too much of a man that they're toxic, and when women feel like they're being too much of a woman that they're
too much of a pushover.
They're not fulfilling their purpose, right? If a woman decides that she wants to be a homemaker and a wife and have children, like a traditional woman, that the world doesn't see that as valuable. So men aren't allowed to be men, and women aren't allowed to be women.
Completely agree with him. He's completely right. Absolutely. 100%. Love it.
Women. Well, what you're describing is the traditional gender roles and the way things should be. When a man, out of all of his love and dedication to the family that he chooses to have, he chooses a woman and he chooses to have a family. It is in our nature. It feels so good to want to give everything to them.
Okay, completely agree with the family aspect, with the one man taking care of his family. 3 women though. Elliot and I disagree on this point. He says 1 woman, okay? I see 3. You gotta have 3. And the reason why you gotta have 3 is because that allows the 2 to actually fulfill their role more perfectly. That's as simple as it gets. If you have more questions, comment down below. We're on a live chat.
I really and truly believe that that's man's nature. I know that's our nature. A man's nature is not selfish. A man's nature is to provide. We want to provide. Now, it's very hard in this world where we've been told, YOLO, and that it's better to be selfish and, get mine, get yours, you know what I'm saying?
I have to admit though, when you understand the truth, the way that we teach it on this channel, being selfish, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you live selfishly for others. What does that mean? Isn't that an oxymoron? No, living selfishly for others means that you are doing it in in terms of investing in the people that you want a return on investment from, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. The more you help others, and I'm talking now mostly about men, but this applies to women as well, the more you help other people, okay, the more, the more you're helped. The happier you make other people, the happier you'll be. So it's the exact same thing according to what he's talking about here. But, yeah.
Everything is, which is truly effeminate. It's all about teaching men to be selfish. But I think when things are rightly ordered and men are being men are selfless. Men are selfless.
He's correct about this in terms of we're selfless because we got a reward. Okay, that's the thing. The moment we don't get a reward, and the biggest reward that men desire is an amazing sex life, to be honest. And if a man has that, okay, if he receives the worship and the love from multiple women, and these multiple women live in harmony with each other because the man understands how to create that, then he selflessly or selfishly is providing. He wants to provide. He's fired up about providing because he's rewarded. He's massively rewarded for his behavior. But a man who's not rewarded, like for example in monogamy, okay, now he'll say a different thing today, but in most relationships that's not the fact, okay? Like Elliot is a millionaire, okay, from the things that he sells, and he has a YouTube channel, he's famous, blah blah blah, all those things. Yeah, it's easy for the woman to kind of become carefree on her own, but she still has issues when it comes to raising kids, when it comes to feeling lonely, when it comes to this, that, and the other. And he will have issues in terms of being an ultimate masculine man, which is what he desires to be. The more time he spends with this woman, the more feminine he becomes, so he has to like fight his feminine nature on a continual basis. And she has to fight, okay, in order for her to remain in her femininity. But if you fight, like, you become more masculine if you try to... Do you understand what I'm saying? She's spending so much time with him. Now, obviously, I don't understand their family situation, but very often this is what happens when a man has a career with YouTube. He loves his family. He's going to spend a lot of time with them. That's just how it is. And especially if the woman is a stay-at-home mother and she has young kids. Now their kids have begun to grow up a little bit as far as I know, but it's still a lot to tackle. I mean, I think they've got 4 kids or something. I'm not sure. But let's keep rolling video.
Are the biggest givers in the world. That's why men create so much in the world. That's why men create...
Let's see if I have enough sound for you guys. I'm not sure if you guys can hear all of this. But let's hope you do.
Societies. That's why men create all the technology, because we want to give our gifts. We just want to give. And so when a man is free to do that without the fear of being taken advantage of, right? Because that's ultimately what happens, right? What happens, you get taken advantage of because they're so generous. But when a man can be that way and can live that way and is held up in high regard for his status as a provider and as a protector and as a leader in the home or with his woman, then guess what women can do? They can relax. Exactly. She could be an artist. She could be a musician. She could sew stuff. She could be like my wife. My wife
do whatever she wants.
This is what my wife does. She does yoga. She goes to private tennis lessons. She gets massages and she works out in the gym. She lives a life of feminine luxury. Why does my wife get to live a life of feminine luxury? Because gender roles, traditional gender roles. And Arnio talks about this in his book, The Oracle, that it's a woman's privilege. This is true female privilege, not feminist privilege, not the BS privilege that women believe that they should be chasing after, which is to be a man. What's appealing to have the privilege to be like a man, right? To do the things that men do. That's saying that men are better than you, right? I have the privilege to go and compete with men in the marketplace.
This is actually, it's not funny, okay, but it's very interesting to think about. The fact that very often the women who hate men are trying to become men themselves. Like, that's a fact. That's how it works. When you look at women who hate men, very often they're more manly sometimes than a lot of men. And the reason why is because they literally have to step into their male the male aspect of themselves, which is a very weak one, by the way. Unfortunately, that's how the universe has created us. When women want to become men, they become a weak man. When a man wants to become like a woman, he becomes a very worthless woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? In terms of gender roles and fulfilling their purpose. But he's right on point when it comes to, it's why would you want to compete with men if you don't like men in the first place?
We'll get a whole bunch of degrees.
But it's not their fault. It is men that has put them there. And it is men not fulfilling their responsibility that causes women to want to become strong like a man and not have, her emotions, try to control her emotions and try to discipline and focus, etc., in order to achieve whatever she wants to achieve without the help of a man. She doesn't want a man to help her, which basically she loses out on the biggest gift of all, which is what he's talking about, feminine luxury. And in my opinion, I agree with the feminine luxury aspect, but fulfilling a woman's potential, like we do not know, and we have not tapped in to women's full potential yet. As a species, we don't know what women are capable of, okay? They're extremely strong in many aspects that have not yet been explored. And the only way that they can be explored is by women being in this situation that Elliot is talking about, being in a carefree type of situation for a consistent long period of time where they literally are able to trust someone who provides for them, and they can relax and they can focus on the things that they enjoy doing. And when they do that, they can tap into unseen, okay, like things that they cannot see, like emotion-wise, intuition-wise, being an oracle-wise, okay? That women are amazing. We don't understand how amazing you guys are, okay? Because we haven't seen yet your full potential. But that potential can only be fulfilled and found in that feminine luxury that he's talking about.
And it'll be a high-powered, bull-dyke woman. That's not being a woman. That's being a fake man. And that's what a lot of, women, they think that it's their right to be. Which, that's fine. But don't glorify that shit. But you know what's even better? Finding a real man, a real provider, a real protector, a generous man. Honoring him, respecting him, and giving him the type of encouragement and support that he needs so that you could live in the shadow of his luxury.
That depends if he's actually a trustworthy man, and if he actually is progressing towards greatness, and if he actually is changing. Because there's a lot of women who find good men and then he ends up doing nothing. And the woman is like, she feels cheated. She's like, what the heck? Like, I signed up for, joy, bliss, and happiness, but I don't feel that way. Does that man deserve, the encouragement and support if it's fake? Because very often this happens in monogamous marriages where the woman is like, oh, you can do this and you can do this, honey, and blah, blah, blah. But inside, she's like, I hate his guts. Like, I can't stand him and the way that he does things, blah, 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 etc., etc. Okay? But she's kind of, she's been told that being submissive and lifting up her man is the way to go. The thing is that a man who actually knows what he's doing will get that type of behavior from his women automatically by being the kind of man that they desire and being the kind of man that they need and that they want. Because they automatically will give him every ounce and bits of encouragement and support naturally. It's not even a chore for women unless the man sucks and if the man doesn't do what he's supposed to be doing. This is why it's crucial that the man that you find receives a stamp of approval that he is that type of guy who, no matter if there is a woman in his life or not, he takes life by the horns and actually progresses on his own and achieves his purpose and his goals. With or without women. He doesn't need the encouragement and support of women, but he uses them, okay, in a good way in terms of receiving reward, okay? women were designed in many ways to be a massive reward for men going out and getting everything in life that they desire so that they can give that luxury back to women. And women in that circumstance don't need to be told what to do in terms of encouraging and supporting their man and worshiping and enjoying his presence. They'll do that naturally. Power, that's what women are attracted to. What is power? The ability to do. Confidence, okay? And when they see their man achieving his purposes and achieving his goals, he's fired up outside his brain, and then the women are like, wow, I love that guy. And they talk to each other about it at home, and he's like, I'm so excited when he comes home, and blah, blah, blah. You know, stuff like that. You know, aren't you excited for when he comes home? Stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what you want as a woman. That's what men want to be as men. And he doesn't, just like men don't want to receive pity sex, okay? That's just an example of what happens in marriages where the man wants it all the time because he's an ejaculator, which means that he's hypersexual, which means that he wants sex a lot more than the woman does, which is ridiculous. This is role reversal right there. If he's not an ejaculator, she's the one that wants it more than he does. Interesting how that works. But in that type of relationship, in a monogamous setting, very often the woman gives the man pity sex, or the kind of like, well, okay, you know, let's do it, and then she does it, but it's kind of like it's not because she wants it. She like, oh, I need you, or like, you know, and she's fired up outside her brain. It's because like, yeah, okay, you know, type of thing. Like that's not what a man wants, and also that's what he deserves is if that's what he's getting. Because she can't control that. She can't control those emotions. Is she going to fake it? No, because if she fakes it, it's going to get worse, right? If she truly expresses what her true feelings are, that's what we want. We want immediate feedback of what is actually happening in her heart. And the majority of the time in monogamous marriages, unfortunately, women don't feel anything. Anything for the man, which means that it becomes pity sex. In the same way, if you compare that to how men want to be worshipped, okay, they want their women to massively look up to them and be fired up outside their brain to serve them, to give them food, to give them this, to give, you know, to scratch their head, to give them a massage, to do all those things that men would want. Women do it naturally, okay? They just want to be in his presence. They just want to touch him. They just want, oh, he's so amazing if he does the things that he's supposed to do. Women can't help themselves. It's in their nature. It's part of their programming to do that stuff. It's amazing, okay? Let's go.
I want to give my wife everything. It gives me a boner to buy my wife stuff. To see my wife basking in luxury, right? I really want that for her. And I think if you ask most women, what would you rather? A career or a life of feminine luxury? Right? Take care of the children. Take care of the home. You don't have any stress. Whatever you want.
And you can wake up anytime you want in the morning. No, you can't do that if you've got kids. If you don't put them in school, you can. Okay? Like that's the beautiful part of being a stay-at-home mother and homeschooling them, but being alone doing that every single day, okay, and making food for them 5-6 times a day because they need food often type thing, that's what happens with kids. It's horrible on your own. When you're multiple women together, it's amazing. Okay, but there needs to be harmony there, so we need to set up the foundation right so that that's, you know, that's basics. As long as there's harmony, everything is wow in the 3 in Love family, as we discussed on this channel.
And so to answer your question, man, I think that's great. I think that's amazing. Your wife is an artist. Let her be an artist and decorate the whole house. Let her make all kinds of beautiful paintings for the home. One thing I would say is that guard against this. When if she decides to start becoming very too ambitious outside the home, then I see that as a problem. Because then the children suffer. Then the family suffers. Because mom is trying to play the dick role again. She's trying to get out there and juke the world. Boy, I'm going to get mine. Right? That's not very feminine. But if she's just being an artist, she's being an artist, she's creating art, she's creating beauty. And even if she offers it, right? But it doesn't take away from the family. Offer, make a website, put it out there. But when she started becoming real ambitious, and she has to leave the family for a week because she has to go to an art gallery, right? Or she decides she's going to become, the president of the local art museum, and all that kind of shit. Like then,
Nah. I completely agree with Elliot there that it's not necessary, and it's not what she was designed to do in terms of protecting her emotions and fulfilling her feminine needs. If there were 3 women, then they could together choose what to spend time on and what not to spend time on, which people to spend time with and which people not to spend time with. But when you're just one person, you're submissive. And a submissive woman very often might get invitations from other people of, oh, what if you did this, and maybe we could do this together, and this, that, and the other. And it's very tempting for a woman in monogamy to say yes to those things because she's alone at home and she doesn't have much going on, and she feels left behind by society at large, which is horrible for a woman to feel, which is why she says yes to do work outside the home. Okay, women naturally don't want to work. The only reason why they do that is because they don't trust men. If they could choose, they would choose not to work and receive passive income. 95% of women are like that. Okay? And the reason why women say, no, I'm not like that, is because they don't trust men. Ask yourself that question. If you're a woman who desires to go out there and get your own, like he's talking about here, ask yourself, do you trust men? The answer is going to be, no, I don't. That's why you want to go and get your own. If you actually trust men, you have like, I'm looking forward for the day when I will never ever work for another man for the rest of my life. Okay, but in a monogamous situation, it becomes quite tricky because a woman feels like fish out of water, meaning her man has not created the environment that's necessary for him to receive the utmost obsession about him, the worship about him, the amazing, wow, I love my husband so much. And that's why she's really focusing on so many other things. And why does he not get that? Because he doesn't understand female nature and that they need other women. Women need other women. Okay? Should make a t-shirt of that. Women need other women. Anyway, let's go.
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is she really just letting the spirit, the beautiful feminine spirit within her, express itself through beautiful art. And if you decide that you want to help her, and maybe and it doesn't take away from the family, it doesn't take away from what you're doing to help her sell them, that's fine. But it's a beautiful thing if you can provide a situation where your wife could really fully express her creativity. And the greatest form of creativity on this planet, the most magical form of creativity on this planet, that has never-ending potential and possibilities, and in fact it provides the greatest gifts to this planet: childbearing, making babies. What's more creative? What could possibly be more creative than making babies and then growing a family? You know, if you make babies and grow a good family, a rightly ordered family, a holy family in this world, that you're one of the greatest artists that live right now, because most people can't do it. That's an art. That's an art. Believe that. Growing a family, a healthy family, especially in this diabolically disoriented age where everything's freaking upside down, and it's so hard to do, is a work of art. It's a masterpiece.
I completely agree. This is why I teach on the Men of High Value channel that there's 5 phases of leadership. Number 1, allow yourself to be led, which is the one and only feminine aspect of those 5, okay? But it's important because you need to be led in the beginning when you don't know what you're doing, and you're feminine, right? For men, if they're feminine, they need to be led. Number 2, they need to lead themselves. Number 3, they need to lead others. Number 4, then they need to lead women, okay, and understand how that works if they want to have optimal joy, bliss, and happiness. And then they need to understand how to lead kids. So the family aspect comes after they've gone through the hardships and the failures and all the crap that comes with having a business and working their brains out for years. Okay, so I agree with what he's saying though. It is a masterpiece and it is a work of art, and it's extremely hard. It's extremely difficult to navigate understanding really understanding femininity. That's really what it's all about when you're raising a family, because your kids before the age of 9, both boys and girls, are feminine. They can't control their emotions. They can't control, what's happening to them, and they're all over the place, and they want to do stuff that sometimes they're not supposed to do, and you got to find a way of managing it in such a way that they feel emotionally free, but are, that there's not complete, utter chaos, and it ruins the safety and security of the entire family, if that makes sense, and that they don't fight and tease each other and yell and all that stuff. That's an art. Being able to negotiate, be a peacemaker, and all that stuff that men have to do in those types of situations, it's tricky. But that's the greatest reward for a man. But also, having a man that is able to create that type of family, it is the greatest reward for women. There is nothing better than having an amazing family that is unified. There's very few families in the world, even those where parents stay together, that have a unified family who are going in the same direction. Where do you see that? Who do you know who has a family, they're all going in the same direction, they're all fired up outside their brain about each individual member in that family? It doesn't happen very often. That is a masterpiece that you can't create. You as a woman with your man of high value in the future. Monogamy is going to make it extremely difficult though. And this diabolical, crazy world that we're living that's upside down, you know why that is? It's because of monogamy, okay? That's something that Elliot Hulse hasn't figured out yet, because he doesn't understand that aspect of female nature, and that women actually, really, truly need other women. Why hasn't he figured that out? Because he loves his wife so much. He's been with her since they were 16 years old, if I remember correctly, and she's completely against it. And the reason why she's against multiple women, and this is how he's been influenced, this is the part influence that I think he's had of why he doesn't want it, because he has a mentor that does have 2 women, okay? So he's thought about it a lot, trust me. So it's that aspect of his woman would never accept it, which means that she's masculine, right? Because she won't accept it, making him feminine. So he's not able to, which is quite interesting, okay? Elliot, if you're listening to this video, hit me up and ask me what I mean by that. Because there's a reason why she doesn't want that. But that's your fault, okay, as a man, for not understanding how the woman will find her purpose in 3 in Love. Like how to help a woman see the perspective of, we're doing this 3 in Love lifestyle for you. It's not for me. It's not for the man. The more you understand 3 in Love, you'll understand that this is all for the women and children. The man gets rewarded, but he basically lives a life of being owned by these 3 women. He does. There's nothing wrong with that, because he owns them too. Okay, so they own each other. They're a happy, unified family with different roles, and the man goes out there and provides and becomes a man of power. And when he comes home, he's still a man of power. It's not like he's submissive at home in that type of sense, but he makes sure that they get everything in life that they desire. And then they'll naturally submit, okay? Okay, submit simply. If you guys don't understand what I'm saying, I'm just rambling here, but what I wanted to explain was the one aspect, she's masculine, you're feminine, when it comes to not understanding female nature. And if you don't understand it, then she'll try to be a man in her own way, and in that way, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want multiple women, It also is extremely difficult to get that started once a woman is married to you as well, because she'll always be the number 1 wife, I guess, type thing, which is a problem in 3 in Love, because they're all supposed to be equal. So, and we recognize that and we understand that, but there's other benefits to also being the 2nd and 3rd, but preferably all 3 women will come at the same time with the man, okay? And the man chooses 3, they come together as a group, he commits to them together, and then they move together as a family. But that's the one aspect. The other aspect of him not understanding female nature in that aspect is because he believes wholeheartedly in what the Bible says. Nothing wrong with the Bible. Actually, there's quite a lot of wrong with the Bible when it comes to translations, okay? But I have nothing against the Bible. I love the Bible. But it's just that there's many mistranslations that have caused it to become quite interesting. Because if you take that book literally when it comes to monogamy, you're gonna get a jinx, because you gotta realize that that book has been manipulated, changed, words have been taken out, things have been put in, and that happened, okay? In the very early days of the Roman Catholic Church, they had full control over that book. People have no idea how much they had control over it, but I can tell you right now, it does not make any sense that monogamy disappeared. Because in the Old Testament, they had it. New Testament, oh, it's gone. What happened? Oh, Jesus came. Really? Was he monogamous? Oh, no, he was celibate his entire life. Really? How do you know? Anyway, this is not a religious video, but let's keep going. This is a great video by Elliot, by the way.
If you could do that. So I hope that helps you, dude. Just a little thoughts on that. Done. Yo, it's your bro Elliot Hulse here, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you ought to know that it was a clip from one of my most recent sessions with my King Transformation students, where, among other things, we get together about 4 or 5 hours a week,
etc, etc, etc. All right, thank you so much, Elliot. This was absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys learned something, and if not, I'm not doing my job. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.